How's everyone doing out there? Let me just check a few things real quick. I don't want to give myself anything. Let me check. There we go. Gloves. Gloves. Wash your hands. Whatever you do, wash your hands. I wear these gloves when I pick up the mail outside and when I get an Amazon package. As you might imagine, let me just see if that's audio's playing right now. Yeah, audio sounds fine. I just wanted to double check that. So I got these gloves. I bought these gloves before I wear these gloves when I would do a lot of mechanical work. I have tractors. I have a couple of small tractors, lawn mowing type tractors, and we have a garden, so I have a tiller, and I work on these. So when I work on these engines, I wear these gloves. So I had these gloves available because of the grease and stuff. I like getting my fingers in there to do things, but let me just turn that one on. So I got these new scrolling bars. I'm just testing them out. It's a version of the software that I'm using, Ecamm Live. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is streaming, live streaming. Look, I've been live streaming for 3-4 years, something like that. I think I started, one of the very first times I did live streaming was at NAB. LumaForge had their Faster Together stage set up across the street from the NAB Convention Center, from the actual convention center, and I was streaming some of those events live, the Final Cut Pro ones, since that's what I'm involved with, is Final Cut Pro. So one of the things, I get questions all the time about streaming stuff. My setup is an amalgam of hardware and software. It's not that easy. It's not a package deal. We'll go into some of that stuff. But let's talk about what's going on in your life right now. No matter where you are in the world, I'm doing okay. I live in Maryland on the east coast of the USA. I'm doing okay. Luckily, I've been working from home for 3 years full-time. And before that, I worked from home part-time. And my girlfriend has a work-from-home job. Gloves are a bad idea. They get contaminated. These are disposable. Use them once and throw them away. That's the ones I have. So, there's lots of opinions out there about different things, of course, as you might expect. Some of them are not so reliable. Some of them are. Tangier Clark says, I've been working from home for a while, used to it. So we're the lucky ones, okay? The ones that can actually work from home now, we're the lucky ones. We're used to it. We've been doing it for a while. So we're already set up. I do live streams all the time. I have people that drop in on the live streams all the time, and we're already set up. However, that doesn't mitigate everything that's going on, obviously. There's other things that affect just strictly the ability to work from home. I know collaboration's one of them that people have started being interested in, collaboration. And there's lots of different ways to do that. I think Frame.io was one of the big ones people have been collaborating. I know when I worked with Brad Olson on the documentary Off the Tracks, we used Frame.io for that. Tangier says, working on a feature film, but need to find well-paid work. Very difficult. Would love a Final Cut Pro 10 update. Absolutely. I hope the Final Cut Pro team is working from home right now and getting 10.5 ready for us. Let me put that back up there. Would love a Final Cut Pro update to play with, something fun to play with. I'm home with the kids too. Yes. So I've seen a lot of interesting comments from parents who are home with the kids. Right now, they maybe they were blaming their teachers a little prematurely if they had problems with their kids. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Obviously, I wanted to get on here and let everybody have a chance to tell us what you're doing, how you're getting by. If you are, maybe give us a picture of your setup, of the setup that you have. My setup is, of course, a Mac Pro that I bought back when it first came out in December, which you can't hear it. It's right over there. It's been a great machine so far. I haven't really stressed it out. Right now, I'm hardly using any of the 16 CPUs that I have. And I've already been set up with 2 studios. The upstairs studio where I am right now is where I do most of my streaming. I do video production up here. And this has been set up for a couple of years. I hone it as I go along. I hone equipment. I try pieces of equipment. I try software. It's not, in my case, let me show you what I'm using, because I get asked this all the time. Let me see. Here we go. I get asked this all the time. Ecamm Live is my main streaming software that I use. I started using it over a year ago. It is now, it's run by a couple of brothers who are really, really great. They do great support. They have forums, they have blogs, and they also have a phone view, which I've had for a while, and a call recorder for Skype and other ones. But Ecamm Live, I highly recommend it. Now, I bought this last January, I think. I was looking for a streaming solution to make it easier rather than using Google Hangouts. So I bought this, and I've been using it ever since. Now, I bought it right before it became subscription. So I have a perpetual license to the basic version of Ecamm Live. I don't have to ever update. They have a pro version too, but I use this perpetual license that I've had, so I don't have to pay the subscription fee. I got it about a month, 6 weeks before they went to the subscription model. The subscription model is absolutely very reasonable. It's a great piece of software. They develop it all the time. Right now, I'm running a beta piece right now. That's where we're getting the scrolling titles from. It's in the beta version. And you can have multiple titles and stuff. So that's the main piece of software that I use. Ecamm Live. You can get it ecamm.com, ecamm.com. So the other things that I use, I also use Restream.io, and that enables me to stream to multiple platforms. That is a subscription. Let me pull that up here. Well, it's actually, I can't pull it up because it's just I'm actually logged in, so it's just my login information and stuff, what I'm doing. But Restream.io is what I use for multiple streaming to multiple platforms. Right now, we're going to YouTube, we're going live, we're going to Facebook Live, and we're going to Periscope Live, all 3 of my accounts. Tangier says, to 2013 Mac Pro, 2 monitors, pair of Yamaha H5Ss, Wacom tablet, 2016. QuickTimes, and Mac Pro since it doesn't have QuickSync. How do you send a picture of your setup? Good question. I'm not sure how I can retrieve it. Let me think here a second. Where can you send a picture to that I can grab it? I tell you what, go over to Facebook.com/Richard Taylor TV in Messenger and send it there, and I think I can grab it from there in Messenger. So the main thing is I want to know how everybody's doing. I know nobody's doing fantastic, great, but it's important. There's a couple of things that you can do to help your situation somewhat. Streaming is one of them. He says no Facebook. Okay, then we'll have to, let's see what else we can do. How about Twitter? Can you send it over to Twitter? My Twitter account? I'm not sure how else to get it right now since I'm live on the air. Skype, maybe Skype you can do. I'm not sure. Let me just check one thing. Let me see here. So let me see something here. I'm going to log on to Skype. We have a guest coming on. I have multiple invites out. We'll see who shows up. Oops. Don't want to do that. There we go. So let me see what we're doing here. There we go. Let's see if I can pull him on here. It says no answer, Tony. Let's try it again. Tony isn't online. He'll be online in a minute. See if we can get him to come in. But anyway, there's a lot of things you can do to help with the situation. Tangier says, no cabin fever yet. I make it a point to get outside, see daylight, walk, and yes, even support local businesses with takeout orders, mask and gloves on, of course. Absolutely. Listen, one of the best things you can do is exercise. You may not feel like it, but it's one of the best things you can do is exercise. Eric says he sent a link to Twitter. I'll get with that in 1 minute. So let me see, let me pull this up here. This is one of the pieces of information that people ask. And now, unfortunately, right now, it's currently unavailable. Camlink, Elgato Camlink 4K is how I connect my GH4 into the computer. It's been unavailable ever since this situation started. Now, I have one of these, and as a backup, I also have one of these. It's a Pengo. Let me put Pengo. Try to put it in focus. There we go. Pengo. It has HDMI in and out, so that's a bonus. And it has audio headphones in and out. Now, the problems with that is, with this one is, it seems to roll the bass off quite heavily. So I notice there's a difference in the audio. That's why I'm not using it. But the video portion works fine. It seems to have a very steep roll off on the bass for the audio. And that's why I don't use, well, see, I can use it because my audio is going through a separate device. I don't have the audio coming from the camera. I have the audio going through a separate device. I have a Neumann TLM 103 here, which is just out of sight, going through a Apollo Twin X interface, and that's going into some other kind of interface. It's a complex setup that I've tested for a while. Tangier says is that the GH4 we're looking at now? Yes, it is. It's the GH4. It's streaming in HDMI. Let me call Tony back here.
Hello, hello.
There he is.
Hey, Richard.
Tony, now let's talk about, you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're not doing any barbecues today.
No, I wish I was.
I wish you were too. That was that one time you had that rubbed, whatever that was. It was fantastic. I mean, I didn't taste it. I just by looking at it.
I believe it was the Korean pork ribs.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
They were good. They were really
so
good.
We were talking before NAB, and then of course NAB was, are they going to cancel? They're not going to cancel. They're going to cancel. They're not going to cancel. And then finally they canceled. They canceled for the year. So you said you were not going to go up to the last week. Is that right? You decided not to go?
Yes, it was just thankfully work, but then also, everybody was talking about the coronavirus, and it just seemed like it was a good year to just go ahead and avoid it. It's such a great event because you get to catch up with everybody, and it's the FaceTime that you get with people and just the one-on-one moments, but it just didn't seem like it was worth the risk. So I'm glad that eventually everybody canceled, but it was just too much, I thought.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. I said, well, if they keep it going and some of the majors players stay and some of my friends are coming there, I'll see how it goes. But the closer it got to it, I'm going like, they're going to cancel. I mean, everything's canceling.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember SARS back in the day. I went to NAB when SARS was around, and it was hectic.
Is that right?
Yeah, because everybody's wearing masks and you're trying to avoid people, but it's just possible. There's just no way, and it was like there's no point of putting yourself in that place, in that position. So I was like, I did that once. I don't want to do it again. Don't want to risk it again. So
I don't remember that exactly. I remember the name SARS.
Yeah, it was another virus strain.
Some
sort.
Yeah, I've seen that. I forget what year it was. I guess I've only been going to NAB for the last 3 years. This would have been my 4th year, and that's because of Sam Messman. He's the one that, from when he was with LumaForge, he said, "You going to NAB?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to NAB. Why would I go to NAB?" He says, "Oh, you got to go." This was 3 years ago. Sam was the very first guest I had on Final Cut Pro Radio, and we were talking. That's how that started. He goes, "No, you got to go." So he's the one that got me started. He's also the one that got me started at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. He's the one that got that.
He's the catalyst for a lot of good things.
He is, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So Tangier Clark says SARS was 2003? Does that sound right?
That sounds about right. Yeah, it was. I was going to NAB the late 90s, early 2000s. That's about the time when I stopped going.
You must have been a teenager then.
I was only 4 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little pup.
Exactly. So Lutz Caveman Productions says, "Hey, Tony, glad to see you're okay." Are you okay, Tony?
Hey, Lutz. How's it going?
I didn't ask you that.
It's good. It's we're all good. Everybody's doing their part. I have to come into the office. I would rather be home.
How far is the office from your home?
It is basically downtown, so it's about, I would say, a 10 to 15 minute drive.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Traffic. Yeah, it's not too bad. So everybody's staying in, quarantined. I'm working on some stuff for the city of San Antonio, so it's just too much data, too much footage to try to pack in a little drive and bring home. So I'll be here for the next couple of days.
So you have some work.
Yes, thankfully. Actually, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, like everything just stopped. We had a couple of big productions lined up, a couple of big jobs lined up, and rightfully so, everything just had to come to a halt and put a pause and everything. So up until about a week ago, we had no work, and so we were into marketing mode, going back and looking at our pitch deck and
Right. Right.
reworking our website and adding things we need, so all the internal
Yep.
stuff we needed to do. Also trying to figure out how to strategize to make sure that we can shift. We have these skills and we have these expertise and tools. So how can we shift and figure out a way to still get money, and obviously maybe at a reduced rate, or maybe there's something that we weren't thinking about. So we started doing that, but then some of our clients started coming back to us and say, hey, we need to come up with response videos and start addressing things. So thankfully, that's where kind of in the middle right now.
Yeah, that's good that you have some work. I know what you just described is exactly the scenario. I talked to one of the video production companies out in Baltimore area that does a lot of live streaming. They've been doing it for years, and they do a lot of video production. I do editing for them occasionally, and they said the exact same thing. They said at first there was a lot of activity, a lot of things when it first hit. Then as it got more serious, everything canceled, went from one extreme to the other. So, but
Yeah.
the thing is, do you think the work doesn't go away though, does it? It's just going to wait till this is over, like a pent-up demand, do you think?
I think so. I mean, maybe nobody knows how long this is going to last for, and then nobody knows how, what's the recovery process too. It's like we're not going to just all jump right back in. It's going to be a feathered approach, I think. So we don't know. So I think for the most part, most of the work will still be there, or it might have changed based on how the world has changed, based on how this process goes. But we had some web series, like 2 web series lined up, and for the most part, I feel like they're going to come back. It's just a matter of let's just wait until everybody can get back to a sense of normalcy, and then just see how how this virus takes effect.
Yeah, so that's true. I mean, the thing is, though, I've noticed a lot of the even Hollywood films have stopped. Netflix series have stopped.
Yeah.
That's not going away. They're going to, as soon as they get a chance, they're going to be right on that. Overtime, probably, I would presume, right? For people.
Well, if there's anything good about the coronavirus, I'm not saying that there is, but if there's anything good about it, it will give the world a chance to watch every video known to man on YouTube and on Netflix. So at some point, we're going to need new content, yes.
Well, I agree with your assessment. I mean, I don't make light of it, but Listen, a sense of humor is necessary. You really have to have that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just all the precautions, all the necessary respects to everyone. But at the same time, laughter is good. Laughter helps healing. It helps make you feel better. So, yeah, as long as it's respectful, yes.
Absolutely. See, I just got a picture of Eric Emmerich. Is that his name? Yeah, he's got sent a picture of his setup here. Let's look at that. He just sent it through. We were trying to figure out how to set it up. So there it is. That's a nice setup you have. It's I think you said a 2000. What did you say that was? 2000 something Mac Pro, and then here it is.
I'm not logged on. Let me see if I can get over there to the YouTube and grab your feed so I can see this.
2013 Mac Pro, 2 monitors, pair of Yamahas, and a 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro. Yeah, if you watch the YouTube video, turn the volume down because you'll be out of sync. That's one of the issues. So there's 2 things I recommend. Number 1, have a sense of humor. Not a ridiculous sense of humor, but a sense of humor with everything. And Absolutely. Exercise. Listen, whatever you like. I go out for walks. I used to run in the dark. I used to get up in the morning and run between 6 and 7, so it's dark here on the East Coast. I switched that to walking in the sunlight. Yeah. When the sun's out, I watch, because I've heard people say the sunlight's really good, vitamin D and things, and it's also, it just helps. It just helps.
It's so easy to, just stay on Netflix or watch tutorial videos all night long. I'm a hermit and I'm a night owl, so I like to stay up late, but I think keeping a structure and a schedule
Yes.
it's difficult, and it's something that you should strive to do. But yeah, the running, I've picked back up running. I haven't been running for about a year and a half, so picked up back running in the mornings, and make my one fried egg, have my coffee,
Yep.
do my little exercise routine, and then start the day. That's something I've been trying to tell my son. It's like, it's not free time. We have online school now. We have all these things, but
Sure.
the mind must keep its structure, and it must,
Right.
you know.
And you would think, walking and exercise is good for the mind. It's not
Yeah.
just physical. It helps with depression and other things as well. But I've been a runner for a while. I've always enjoyed it. But I switched from running in the dark to walking in the sunlight. That's what I do now. So, yeah. Yeah. So Tangier says, funny thing is, I never heard of Zoom for meetings until this outbreak. Now it's everywhere. A lot of companies, I think, are going to realize they don't need much office space after this. Well, I think your employer is going to decide whether you use office space or not. So the Zoom, I've seen people using that, but I've also seen some pretty not good articles about Zoom placing things on servers and backdoors into Macs and stuff. So I'm not doing Zoom.
Yeah, did they have a little situation a couple of months ago or last year where it was discovered that
Yes.
they could hack into you, or they were grabbing data or something?
They on the Mac, they were doing some kind of installing backdoors on their servers or something. They said they fixed it or something. I don't know. I don't I don't need Zoom, so. But that was.
Yeah, for all of our many departments we have here at Tamiga, all three of my employees, we all meet on FaceTime, so we can skip the Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. So FaceTime, you can do multiple people now, right? I've seen the screens where there's like 8 people on the screen or whatever.
Yeah. We can do multiple screens. We just get on our phones and FaceTime and to catch up. And we use Monday.com as well to organize our projects. And so we'll kind of have our morning discussion and what do we need to do, and then go attack it.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I think people, especially, listen, construction that's being halted, that's not going away.
No.
The contracts are still there.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes back, they're going to have to try to meet, deadlines and stuff. They're going to be hiring extra people. Video production, I think, is exactly the same way, at least some of it, because it's not going away. Hollywood's not going to stop filming. Netflix is not going to stop filming. They're going to, when things come back in, they're going to come back in strong, and they're going to have the work.
Yeah, I think there's a plethora of messaging and brands, especially like you said, once we all come back, whatever the version of back is,
right.
There's going to be, every brand is going to want to give their message out and show how they're going to help impact, or what's happening, or what's the new thing. We do a lot of tourism stuff, so we're doing stuff to let everybody know, stay safe, follow the rules. Here's some guidelines. Here's things you can do in the meantime. But it's also getting ready for once we come back. Hey, we're here. It's staycation, vacation,
exactly,
whatever.
Exactly.
Health and fitness is another big one as well. There's a lot of things you can do now from quote unquote home. So.
Right.
Fitness from home. There's a lot of videos that still need to be done and made. So there's still things out there.
So my girlfriend is she teaches yoga and Zumba. Now I told her we can do a live stream, but I can't use the music that they use, because that'll be stricken down. Whatever. I don't have permission. She has permission. She has a license where they use it, but I don't have permission to stream it. So.
Right.
I told her we can do a live class, because that's what the gyms around here are doing. As a matter of fact, my boxing instructor, I interviewed him. So I started, listen, the last thing I needed was starting another podcast, but I started another podcast.
Oh, no, Richard. Oh,
I know. This is a video podcast, but what I've done is I've gone around where I live, socially distanced, right, from people, six foot minimum, and I've interviewed people outdoors, talking about what they're doing, how they're getting along. And so one of the people I interviewed was my boxing instructor, and he was talking, he's going 100%. He can't do anything, of course. Gyms are shut down in Maryland, but he went 100% online.
Oh, wow.
and I talked to a local distillery.
Yeah.
Who switched over to hand sanitizer. He's made
Really?
100. Yeah, he made 100 gallons that he distributed to local Carroll County and Howard County for hospitals and emergency workers and stuff. He
Nice.
switched over. And then the other one was the third one in this first episode was a video production, Focal Point Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, like I said, he did live streaming and he does video productions. He works 60 hours a week sometimes, and it started, when it first started, it went up. A lot of requests, information, then all of a sudden the next week it just dropped off.
So you have to plug it. What is the name of your podcast? So I can go.
It's Richard Taylor TV.
Oh, I'm there. Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have it right here. Let me pull it up real quick because I just started this. So I used to put up, so the first episode is right here. Richard Taylor TV podcast. It's called Neighbors because that's what I'm dealing with is the neighbors in my area.
Oh, nice.
And, I just put it up yesterday for the first time, and it's got like 1,500 views already. But it's here's the thing. I go out, I keep outdoors only. I'm not interviewing anybody inside. Okay? I pull up, and I interview people from a distance of 6 feet away. I don't mic them up. I don't touch them. I use a medium shotgun on a stand just outside of the frame that I really like. It's a Sennheiser MKE 600. I really like it.
Yeah, it's a good mic.
It's a good mic, and it's wireless, so I set that up outside the frame. They're about 6 feet away or 7 feet away, and I interview them, and they can hear me, and I can hear them. And it's been fascinating so far. I've got one episode up. I have a second episode that I'm working on right now.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I just also imagine you like later on, if this gets worse, that you're just in your car and you've got like a parabolic dish on top of your car, and you just like drive up, pull up, do an interview, and then take off.
Well, they have somebody we have a main street here in Sykesville. It's about 3 or 4 miles from here. And it looks like a main street from the 1800s.
Oh, really?
It's really incredible. Yeah, it's been around for a while. So I was down there filming some people, talking to some of the shop owners. And, a woman saw me and stopped her car, rolled the window down, and I interviewed her for a minute. Told her, I always tell people, look, I'm filming this for Facebook or YouTube or iTunes, or whatever, so they know. Sometimes I'm live. This time I wasn't live. But we chatted for a minute, and she's in the film, and I have other people. And I'm going to I started local, and I'm going to spread it out to different areas of Carroll County. I can't do much more than that, because we can go out. I can go out.
Yeah.
You can't gather in groups of 10 or more, or in a lot of the stores are closed. So.
Well, I think that's really great, and it speaks to like just the ingenuity of us, right? Once we kind of take a breath and reassess and just see what the need is. It's like the brewery guy who went to making a hand sanitizer. A lot of the little the restaurants here, some of the restaurants have changed over to grocery stores. So you can actually, there's a cool restaurant here called La Gloria where they've just converted into a grocery store because everybody is rushing all the grocery stores and it's hard to find items. You can go there, get your milk and eggs, get your toilet paper, whatever it is you need. Right. And you can also get tacos on the way out as well. But it's
exactly.
Just we all looking at what the need is and shifting, and there's plenty for everybody.
There is. There's nobody's talking about any shortages in the supply chain. It's just a matter of when the stores sometimes getting rushed. The stores around here, we have 3 or 4 major, Walmart, and we have one called Martin's, and we have Weiss, and a bunch of other smaller ones. And they, we have these local Facebook groups that have 10 and 20,000 people. And somebody will post, hey, there's toilet paper over at Walmart at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So everybody. But, I've been in the stores and I've seen toilet paper. I mean, it runs out, whatever. And I've seen the other thing people are looking for is fresh meat. That's the last thing for me. That's the thing I can do without the most. Coffee, toilet paper. I use paper towels a lot, so I could have some of those around. But I don't care if I don't have meat personally. I mean, I enjoy having it until I switch over to being vegetarian, which I will one day. But that's not top priority for me, but other people seem to like that as well. So Tangier Clark says, Tony, what is that gray box behind you? It looks like a mini. What is that? Oh, that's the jellyfish.
It's original jellyfish. Yeah.
And that thing's still working. Do you have to wind it up? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, you have to put on an aluminum hat, and you get behind it, and you wind it up, and it kind of does a little sparks, but
right.
Still,
like an old Model T.
Yes, that is not the one that we use on the day-to-day. We have a newer jellyfish.
Okay.
That's over here on the left side. So this one I think is like 50 or so terabytes, and the other one is 128 terabytes. But yes, love my jellyfishes.
See, I haven't had the need for one because I work by myself, but I'm sure I work upstairs and downstairs. I have 2 studios. I can probably use it in that capacity.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, you just get on one machine, work on it, jump on a different machine, and everything's there.
Everything's there, yeah.
It's ready to go. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. So we got a comment from Dave Mathis. Greetings from the Lone Star State. Multiple sectors will definitely be using temporary help to catch up and meet deadlines after this is all over. That's what I'm counting on. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't be. I can't think of a sector that wouldn't be hiring extra help, giving people the option for overtime and stuff. I know, like I said, construction and video production, absolutely, because those things are not going away.
No. And some of construction, it has to keep going on just because it has to be finished for safety reasons. But yeah, there's going to be another little boom, hopefully, once we get over this craziness.
Well, the other thing about construction is a lot of it's outside, so they should, they usually wear gloves, they wear protection anyway. Masks. I mean, I was a woodworker. I did carpentry work for years, and I have N95 masks. I have them because of them. You're dusting and you're sanding all the time, so I had a box of those. But I haven't used them as much recently, but I use them for mowing grass, because when I mow grass, once again, it kicks up all the dust, and I get sinus problems if I don't have them. I haven't used a single once for this whole. I have about half a dozen out there.
Well, you could sell them for like $1,200 each if you wanted to.
I would give them away to the hospital before I would do that. But grass is starting to grow, so I have to do that as well. So have you gotten a chance to mess with a Mac Pro yet? One of the new ones? Have you seen one?
No, I haven't. I want to. It's so much power. I would love to have one, but I have the iMac Pro here, and it's kicking just fine.
The iMac Pro is a great machine.
How is it for you? You have one, right? You bought one?
Yeah, I bought it. Listen. As soon as I saw this at WWDC, I was astounded. It's even better than the original Mac Pro. And do I need 100% of the power? No, I don't. But I love the form factor. Absolutely love it. So I set up a Mac Pro fund, and I've had it funded back in August of last year. And I kept the money set aside, separate account. So when it came up, I just bought it.
If the Mac Pro came out a year before, I probably would have gotten it. But just I needed some production equipment, and I needed some post gear. So if it was literally I missed it by a year. I'm going to get one. But just
the iMac
later.
Pro is a fantastic machine. I was stuck, and I'll say stuck literally on a 2017 iMac, and I say stuck because I only had 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Wow. And boy, that was aggravating.
That is.
I mean, I don't know why. MacBook Pros have 4. Everything. I think the Mac Mini's got 4, but the iMac only has 2. It has some USB ports too, but so now I have 8 Thunderbolt 3 ports. 8, because I have it. You get 4 stock on the Mac Pro. You get 2 on the top, 2 on the back, and then I got the MPX module with the graphics card, and that has 4.
Wow. You got ports on ports on ports.
Exactly. And they're not all filled up, but sometimes I feel like one of the old telephone operators plugging things in and out. Because my Mac Pro's right here because I want to keep access to the back of it. And it's not the least bit noisy. It's just completely quiet. Does throw out heat. That's one thing it does, absolutely does do. But it's completely quiet. So I keep it up here because I do plug things in and out of it.
And have you tried to push it in any way?
I was helping Rob Morgan, the guy from does all the speed testing. I was helping him initially. He sent me some tests to do for him because he didn't have a 16 core. He had a 12 core and an 8 core, I think. So I said, I have a 16 core. So I did some tests from him, and it ran everything up all the way to the top. Yeah, but I mean, the work I do, sometimes I see, because I got there's menu meters or whatever, sometimes I can see the CPUs. Something was weird yesterday that I was doing. I forget what it was, and they were all up really high. Something that I didn't think was should have caused it, but it did. Something in Final Cut, of course. That's my main application. I use that in Logic. But I've had problems with Final Cut in the last couple of days with importing HEVC footage from my iPhone. It'll import the clip, and it'll stop in the middle, and it'll just stop importing it. But the icon will be, the icon will be there. Yeah.
That is weird.
I'm building a report up for the Final Cut Pro team. I'm going to send it in. It's weird because I thought it was HEVC, and then I did it. So I switched over to H.264.
Yeah.
This is just so bizarre. Imported a whole bunch of clips. These are my interviews I'm doing with the local podcast. Imported a whole bunch of H.264 clips, and they were all fine. Yeah, they're fine. And I have a screen grab, because I'm taking screen grabs now, just in case something changes. All the clips were fine. There was no camera icons in any of them. When I open up the project, it says it has the camera icon on them, every one of them.
That is weird.
I don't know why. I linked them back up, and they're back again. So there's definitely some bugginess. And of course, I did the preferences thing.
Well, this could be a good time for you to go and try Resolve and to see if, make sure it plays fine in Resolve.
Listen, there's two, the fact that Final Cut Pro is 27 months old, 10.4 is 27 months old now.
Wow.
Yeah, 27 months. I'm keeping track of it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I'll keep track of it for everybody. 27 months old, 10.4 is LumaFusion and Resolve are my next two NLEs that I'm absolutely looking for. So do you like editing in Resolve?
I do. It's great. I just did a promo sizzle reel video probably about a month ago in it, and it's wonderful. Get in there and cut all the organizing. It's very similar to Final Cut. It's got its differences, but it's great to bounce between Fairlight and Fusion and editorial, and then I'll tinker and color. So that I love. It's responsive. It's fast. I hate tracks still. I hate tracks. I can't get over tracks. So I still use it, and I still cut 15% of what I do in Resolve, maybe 20%.
Right. Okay.
But there's nothing that compares to a trackless environment. It's so nice.
I agree with you for a lot of things. I mean, I would not want to give it up for any reason. That's one of the reasons I still stay with Final Cut.
Yeah.
But I don't mind tracks when it comes to audio. I use them in Logic all the time, and they're completely fine. I mean, I have 10 or 15 tracks, and it keeps everything nice and neat for me.
And on the audio side for tracks, it's great too, because in Resolve you just throw on, and like in other ones as well, you just throw on an effect to a couple tracks, and now whatever you put, you can actually lock these in. And these are my environmental sounds or whatever it is you want to do. But that I love that aspect of it. I love being able to go into. What's so great about Resolve too is they really are separate apps. So there's plus and minus to that. But the plus side is if you're going into Fairlight, all the video stuff just fades away. Right? You don't have to worry about any types of effects and filters for video. Video tracks just all go away, and now you're just focusing on audio. You can see your video, your playback.
Sure.
And the same thing for color. You jump into color, and you don't need to worry about audio or even worry about trying to get rid of audio. It just happens for you. So that's really nice.
Very nice. Very nice. And Resolve, came around with the color application, and they've added Fairlight, and then they've added editing, which was a kind of a surprise. I think a lot of people were surprised. I was surprised they added editing. But
Well, and it makes sense for the editing end result because it has to conform from all the other NLEs, right? So it's
right.
got to be able to import AAFs and Media Composer and Final Cut XMLs and Premiere. So it's like it has to be able to translate a lot of that stuff. So I feel like that was more of a natural step, since it could conform so well, and you want to be able to do little tweaks and adjustments. You might as well
Sure.
just start to make it a full-fledged editor.
No, I agree. I was just surprised they did it, but I agree. That's what I'm interested in more, since I don't do much. I don't do coloring myself. Basic. I mean, I can pull up the scopes and get my levels right. So Dave Mathis says, Resolve has live save, which is nice. Media management is solid. So if you want to save in Final Cut Pro 10, get backups for Final Cut Pro. You can save anytime you want. It's $18. I just love this app. $18 on the App Store. You can save as many times as you want. You can catalog each save. You can name each save. It does a lot more than just save, but you can do manual saves in Final Cut Pro for $18. Backups for FCP on the App Store. I use it all the time. People don't, it's just so aggravating when people say, oh, I lost all my stuff. I said, where's your backup? I don't mean just your library backup. I mean your media backup. I don't even start a project until I have 2 or 3 backups on separate drives, media, everything.
Yeah. Final Cut's great for the live save. I don't think I've, knock on wood, I don't think I've ever lost. When it crashes, it'll crash and start it right back up, and you're literally within a click of what you just did before the crash. But yeah, good backup strategy. We make sure we back up all of our camera negatives, and then everything gets backed up overnight as well. The next thing we need to add is an LTO system. So we've got our little savings account for that. Yeah.
Now, is the new version of the LTO specification near? I think, is it 8, 7 or 8 now?
I think we're at 8.
Okay, so is it? Because the last time I checked, it was a couple years old, and usually there's another new one coming up.
Yeah, they've got it planned out, and I haven't been up to date on it, but they do usually keep them planned out for 3 or 4 generations out, and then they'll start to announce when the next one comes out. But I think right now we're at 8.
So one of the things everybody's, of course, the buzzword right now, since nobody can work, is collaboration, working from home, collaboration. You've used Frame.io, right?
Oh, yeah. We use Frame.io for everything. It is a great backbone for us. We have the enterprise version of Frame.io. Okay. So we already had like 2 or 3 terabytes of storage. And so we use it obviously for the review and approval process, sending to clients, even for all of our local clients.
Sure.
They come in only when they need to now, so it's really nice. I can just send them stuff. But we also use it as a mastering platform for our clients. So we have one of the agencies that we work with, they kind of help fund some of our Frame.io enterprise, but that becomes a repository for all their masters. So they can go back to like 2017, 2016, and see all their masters for every project, spot,
That's fantastic.
And pull it down at any time that they need to. And it's the ProRes version as well. So they have ProRes, and then they have the web version. So they need to make a presentation in Keynote, they can pull down the H.264, or if they need to, we need to send something for broadcasts, we've got everything there for them. So it's working out really well for us. And
they have Patrick Southern, and they have Michael Cioni.
2 of the best guys in the industry.
Exactly. I mean, how could you lose with people like that? The quality of an employee like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I'm really excited to see where Michael's vision is for Frame.io. I know, he has got a great grand vision of bringing production directly into post, and I think that's going to happen, and that's going to be great. But I hope that they're still planning on developing Frame.io on the post side, because it's so close to a MAM and a DAM. We use Monday.com to catalog all of our projects and all of the videos, so we know who's working on what, when, and how, and are we stuck on it? Are we waiting for review, and yada yada. But there's so much integration that you can do with Monday.com and Frame.io. So it's so close to being a MAM, and I really hope that they can start to develop that, because everything's going to be in the cloud anyways.
Yeah, you would just keep, I guess, proxies in or whatever in the cloud at Frame.io, and then you can use it as a MAM, I guess.
Well, a MAM, just for us, it would be to catalog all of our masters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I would want to make that process easier, because it's still, if you think about dumbing it down to the nth degree for somebody on the client side who just wants to go in and type something. So it's still, quote unquote, a little complicated for them. But if we can give them a live database, like in a spreadsheet format, but that's live, that they can just go from there straight into Frame.io. So that's what we're trying to work on, is a way to give them their own catalog. And it's got all the proper metadata information that they need, that they can see in spreadsheet format, but then jump straight into Frame.io to watch the asset or to download it or whatever. And eventually I would like to get into object storage, where we can just store all of our media. And then from that point, it's game over, because then it's like you can be anywhere. You can be on a beach on your iPhone.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's a good point. So Gary Frailberg says, backups for Final Cut Pro is $24 Canadian. Due to the difference in currency exchange. $24 is cheap for something like backing up on top of what backups for Final Cut Pro does a lot more than what Final Cut Pro itself does for backups. It's much more versatile. You can back up your media if you want to, but normally that's not the standard. It's just for backing up events and projects, and you can name them and catalog them, and it's really, really good.
I have a question. I think, did NAB officially cancel? Because they were going to try to make it push it back, right? But they canceled?
They canceled after they initially said we're going to postpone. But there's a couple of problems. Number one, you have IBC in the fall. And you also have NAB New York in the fall. So where are you going to put it? You're going to. Somebody said you're not going to put it in the middle of summertime in Vegas. It's too hot, they said. That's what they told me. I mean, I'd never been there in summertime, but...
Well, my next question is then, the companies that do normally announce products or updates or new things at NAB, I wonder what their strategies are. Are they going to just wait, or are they going to do their own online version of a release?
That's what I've seen. I've seen all these big companies are they're doing the same week as NAB, because I guess that's what their schedule is. That's what they're... They're doing production on these different things. I want to find out from here you are, from Blackmagic. What's going on? Resolve 17?
Okay, don't tell anybody. As long as it's just between you and I. I have no idea.
Yeah, and if they have a new camera, usually you have hardware and software. Like last year, they had the keyboard and the 6K camera. Now, the biggest thing about the cameras is I like to have an articulating viewfinder. That's the biggest thing that I don't like about the cameras.
So I've been using the little Pocket 6K and been loving it. So I'll send you some stuff I've been working on with it, but I love it, and I want to be able to take the viewfinder they have for the Ursa Mini Pro, and be able to rig it onto the Blackmagic pocket camera, but it's tailored. It's a great viewfinder, the viewfinder they have for the Ursa Mini, but it's you have to modify. I think Wooden Camera makes a modification for it, but I don't want to modify it. I don't want to take it apart and have to reconnect it.
Absolutely
I just want a good viewfinder at a decent price that I can use on any camera if possible. So that's my only gripe for that is, yes, I would love to have a viewfinder from Blackmagic that can work on any camera. That'd be great.
So the best viewfinder I've seen is on the Panasonic S1H. Have you seen that thing?
Mm-mm.
It's like dual articulating. You know the way the Sony cameras have it that just flip out the back and it just stays in the back, but you can flip at different angles? Mm-hmm. It has that, plus you can rotate it to the side, both.
Oh.
It has both.
Oh, the monitor in the back. Yeah, I can move.
Yeah, the viewfinder in the back. So you can do it like Sony with just the back itself and tilt it up and down, or you can actually pull it around the side and do it. They have once again, I wasn't expecting that, and they came out with it on the SH1 or S1. I think it's S1H. And that's their full frame camera. And I'm still waiting for the GH6. Look, the GH6 and Final Cut Pro 10.5. Where in the heck are you guys? Both of you have been waiting. Logic 10.5 too.
I'm really curious about 10.5 for Final Cut.
Well, if you think about it, since it's been 27 months, normal Final Cut Pro, the average Final Cut Pro distance between full number updates is 16 months. They've had one at 14, one at 16, one at 18, so the average is 16 months. The only Final Cut Pro full number update that took this long was 10.0 to 10.1. That was 30 months.
So we're close.
So we probably close. I don't think they can stretch it to the FCPX Creative Summit in the fall. I think that has to. I'm going to, since NAB didn't happen, and I'm thinking they might show something at WWDC. They can release it at any time. They don't need an event. But an event kind of makes it special, though, don't you think? I mean, NAB or the Creative Summit, it makes it more special than just, here's 10.5.
Yes, it does make it special. We're not going to have that special. Special's on hold.
It is on hold. I was going to, But 10.4.7 is 27 months old at this point. I'm keeping track of it for the Final Cut Pro team. That's what I'm doing it for, so they know. So they know it's 27 months. 27 months plus a couple of days.
You hear that, Final Cut Pro team? We need you. We need you right now.
Well, wouldn't it be nice, while everybody's off, they could have something fun to play with? 10.5?
It's a perfect opportunity.
I mean, it's coming out in 2020. It has to. If they don't come out in 2020, that's... Of course it's coming out in 2020. It has to come out in 2020. So it's just a matter of when. They can release it at any time. That's fine. Obviously not before it's ready. But I'm curious, too. I mean, that's a long development cycle,
Yeah, it is. And, everybody has their big wish list of what needs to be on there, what's important to them in their, silo of the industry. So I hope that they can do stuff that addresses as much as possible.
Things. Yeah. I mean, since this is taking so long, they certainly could be addressing collaboration somehow. There might be a new version of Final Cut that's using an easier way to collaborate. I don't know if the old version was that conducive to collaborating, other than using something like, who's our friends at Hedge?
PostLab.
PostLab, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to crack, and it seems like PostLab is just now starting to get some good steam, and finessing what they have and making it work. So in some ways, I would love for Apple to figure out how to crack that, but in some ways, it would completely diminish what PostLab has been working on for so long. And
but they can't. I don't want Final Cut Pro to be dumbed down because of third-party apps. I mean, third-party apps take their chance. They all take their chance. So one of the things that when we hear the Final Cut Pro team at the FCPX Creative Summit, we can't talk about the meetings that we had, but we can talk about stuff that they've talked about in public, which number one is they read every single email that comes into them. They have a full-time person that reads requests and the complaints and the bugs. They have that. Doesn't mean they're going to respond to everyone.
Right.
Okay. That just means they read them so they get the information. And of course, like any company, they compile that information. If they get 10 requests or 100 requests for something or a bug report, they'll pay more attention to the ones that get more requests than the ones that get just esoteric. Like Sean Lander requesting dupe detection. Nobody requests that except for Sean. So,
couple folks.
No, I'd like to see that, of course. So they do that, and the other thing is they prioritize different ideas working with Final Cut. For example, they worry about colleges and schools and high schools. That's a big thing. They worry about event videographers. I'm just saying they pay attention to event videographers, documentary filmmakers, and Hollywood. Okay? They do. But Hollywood's not going to be as big, in my opinion, as some of the other strata. It is there, and they certainly are aware of that. So they prioritize these things. I mean, which one gets more attention, which one gets less? They all get some attention, just a matter of
them doing it.
Yeah, prioritizing. And so some things, for example, if something was something they said, well, this Hollywood would like this will also benefit this one, and this one. And the opposite way, something for high school kids or college kids will also go up the ladder and benefit this, and this. Mm-hmm. Those are the kind of things I think they really look at.
They should just put everything in there. I think they should just take compressor and motion and put it all inside, make it one big fat app.
Like Resolve.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, of course. Logic wouldn't fit. Logic's bigger than Final Cut Pro. Logic, people, I talk about Logic all the time, and people say, well, you use Logic. I said, I use Logic because it's an digital audio workstation. It has a lot of features that Final Cut Pro doesn't have. Final Cut Pro should not have. Mm-hmm. Final Cut Pro's nonlinear editor, digital audio workstation like Logic or Pro Tools are different. They're different. They work with audio only. So I would not want to see that. And I don't carte blanche recommend video editors get involved with Logic. It's much more complex than Final Cut Pro. I'm not saying they can't, but I'm saying you'll get frustrated if you don't have some kind of training with it and stuff.
Yeah, it's the battle of the generalist and the specialist. And in my market, I have to be as the best generalist that I can be because I have to be able to. But I prefer to hand off to the specialist, right? I would rather have an audio engineer mix my content for me and make it much better, elevate the job. I'd rather hand my stuff off to a colorist to, again, elevate the job. So yeah, where's that threshold of importance of how much features do they give inside of your NLE to make it as good as it can be without overstepping? Yeah,
the NLE is a video editor, and the DAW is an audio. I mean, of course there's some things that overlap, but films, they always hand their audio off to Pro Tools, almost always. That's because the NLEs can't do it as good as Pro Tools can.
Right, and you want a different level of finesse. You want a whole different mindset. You want to help another person to be there collaborating, to not even worry about the frame, so to say, but what's coming out of the sound environment.
Exactly. Yeah. So how's your family doing as far as their attitudes with everything? Are they okay, or they're not falling apart? And
it's I'm pretty sure it's similar to a lot of folks. Everybody's kind of adjusting to this whole new thing of stay at home and self-quarantine yourself. So there's the idea of everybody going stir crazy because we're all together. I was talking to some friends, and it's like there's going to be a coronavirus baby boom and a divorce boom at the same time. So it's been good. Trying to get my son to understand that yes, we are on lockdown. We're at home, but keep the structure. We can't be staying up late. Right. We're going to have bedtimes. We're going to have wake up times. We're not going to just play Xbox all day. So there's only certain times you can get on.
That's good though, Tony. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. So it's just like, let's maintain structure. And even though it's like, we don't have to be at school at 7:30, we still need to be up at a certain time. So what's the new routine we need to make? My wife's been working from home already, about 3 days a week. She works for USAA. So it wasn't much of a stretch for her. She's already been working from home. And it's just trying to make sure that we all, like, if I have a conference call, I have to be on. She's got a conference call, and my son's got to log in to his school. So it's like all finding different parts of the house that we can kind of be quiet and still have our calls and not interfere with somebody else. But it's been good. We're going to adapt, and we're going to find the silver lining and keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. My girlfriend and I, Jane, we've been together for quite a while, so we're used to each other. And we enjoy each other, and we both like being home. So that's not a stretch. So Tangier says, articulating viewfinder has been a big deal for me too, Richard. One of the reasons I love the Panasonic GH line, which I agree with that. And then Brian's Sigmiller says, rather than new features in Resolve, I wish they would squash some bugs. Resolve doesn't have any bugs, does it, Tony?
Bugs? No, there's no bugs. Yes, Resolve has plenty of bugs. Yeah, Resolve is in a good spot. I agree. No new features, really. Just refine and finesse. Fusion needs a ton of refinement. we talked about the good side of having all these different apps and different mindsets and Resolve,
Right.
audio, color. But the problem that I think they have is that it's an amazing piece of software. It's so complex. You really have to be an expert in it. So for the generalist folks, it's too complex. So how do they make it to where it's more accessible? It's easier. Like Fusion's very complicated. How do we make it to where it's not so complicated?
I don't want to do color. I don't want to do motion. I'm sorry. I'll do a little bit. But I spend time in Final Cut and Logic, and I'd rather dedicate my time to those two applications, and I know both of them very well. I say it all the time. I'd rather pay Mark Spencer $30 to do a plugin for me than I would spend time learning it. I just don't have the time. And the same with color correction. I do, obviously I go through things and try to match shots, and I get the watch my black levels and stuff like that. But I don't go, film level with it.
Yeah. So I think they just need to figure out a way to not make a dumbed down version, but a more accessible version that you can kind of get results quicker and easier. And I think they would have a pretty good, piece of software on their hands if they could do that.
So Patrick Southern's not doing the damn thing. His wife wrote an article for Pro Video Coalition. Emily. She wrote an article. He's slacking off, I guess. She had to write the article. She wrote an article on the film that just came out, The Banker.
Oh, okay. Is that on? She wrote that.
Yeah. So
nice.
it's Final Cut Pro. Let me put that up. I'll bring it up on screen. Patrick is a slacker. I saw him. She threw him out of the house, and he was in the backyard the other day. He had a picture on his website, working from the backyard.
Backyard editing.
Yeah, by himself. Nobody else is around. And I said, "Well,
that's a new definition of going to your corner."
Exactly. That's what I told him. I said, "Your wife threw you out of the house, and you were getting in her hair." And she said, "Go out in the backyard and play." So that's where you are. So The Banker is on Apple TV Plus. So yeah, she wrote an article about that. I had him on Final Cut Pro Radio TV Live, and I'm turning it into a podcast as well. Steven, is that his name? I think it is. And he had a very interesting. He came in on it. He wasn't there at the start. He came in a little bit later. And he replaced Kevin Bailey started it, and he had left, so he came in and replaced him as assistant editor. But they started it in Final Cut Pro, and they finished it in Final Cut Pro. I was very curious about the film workflow with Final Cut Pro. He was at the Creative Summit last year talking about it. Stephen Moyer, that's his name. So he likes Final Cut Pro.
Give it a read.
Another editor from LA that works. So what do you think about the iPad Pro?
I think it's great. I love the fact that they put a LiDAR scanner on there.
Oh yeah.
The touchpad is huge.
It is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have the the 10 or 11-inch iPad Pro from last year.
Yep.
And I love the idea of it. And every time I start getting into, we use Google Docs, and so the sheets and spreadsheets, and I make all my presentations in their presentation PowerPoint equivalent. But it's every time it's like only 80% of the way. Like the touch kind of gets in the way at some point. You just need a mouse to be able to select text, and it just makes things faster.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they're going for that and addressing that, I think is huge. I think it's really huge. That's the reason why I keep a laptop around.
Right. Well, I've been saying for a couple years, when is Apple going to have a touchscreen MacBook Pro, right? And when people say, "Oh, that would be this and that," I'm not talking about using the touchscreen all the time, just some of the time. Mm-hmm. So they didn't do that, at least not yet. They came around the other side, and they made a touchscreen iMac Pro. I mean, a touchscreen iPad Pro, like a MacBook. They came around the other side and make it. When you look at it, it's exactly what a touchscreen MacBook Pro would look like. You have the trackpad with the mouse.
Yeah, what I think is great, is smart, is that they didn't just say, let's just take what we know as a computer, the idea of that, and let's just add touch to it. Because
Right. It's more,
you're
yeah,
not like, my wife has a touch and she never uses it. There's no logicalness to it. There's no fluidity to it. But keeping the mindset of the iPad, where all you do is touch, and let's take in some concepts and some ideas from the computer side. Let's not make it a computer. I mean, it is a computer, but
right,
it's
right.
let's like the mouse. There's no mouse. It's just a little circle that
Right,
just kind of goes
right.
and starts to
Exactly.
highlight stuff. So
Exactly.
it's staying within the mindset of the touch, but just adding a little bit better use of it. So I think that's great. I love it. I want to test it out and see how it works.
So I'm going to probably get one. I might get last year's model, though, because the only reason I'm getting it is for LumaFusion. Because I'm already using LumaFusion now, the NLE on the iPad. When people say Final Cut Pro on the iPad, I said it's already there and it's better than what the Apple team would do. It probably is, because it has more features.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Powerful.
LumaFusion? They have the overall view underneath of the viewer of the entire timeline. Have you seen that? That little mini window, all the tracks
I heard
and
about it. I
everything.
haven't seen it yet.
Love that. I love that. You can
That sounds
colorize.
like the cut page.
Oh, okay. Okay. You can colorize clips and sort by the color. You can color
really?
clips. Yes, you can color clips. And you can sort by the color red and sort by the color green. So you can say, okay, I want all these. I want the dialogue A to be all red. I want dialogue B, and you can sort by the color. One of the other things we were talking about, tracks versus non-tracks, they have both. They have a magnetic timeline, but they also have the ability to lock one of those lanes. You can lock it so it doesn't move, and everything else moves, but that lane doesn't move. Colorized markers. It also has colorized markers. There's a whole bunch of neat features. It has a little mixing board as well, for audio. So it has a lot of features that even Final Cut doesn't have. So I think this is plus Apple always shows it. They showed it at the iPad Pro demonstration. They had LumaFusion up there. So I don't think you're going to get Final Cut Pro.
LumaFusion.
Yeah, it's like $30. $30, something like that.
No, I mean, Apple should just buy.
I asked them about that. And they said they would consider, depending what the offer was. But they like working the way they're working right now so much. Speaking of that, I've been forgetting this for weeks because of everything else that's going on in the world. I have a license for a copy of LumaFusion. I'm going to give away on perhaps the next Final Cut Pro Radio TV Live. I'm not going to do it today because I don't know, haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet. So I have a license to give away.
Yeah, tease it and promo it and get it out there.
I can't give it to you, Tony. I'd like to, but I can't give it to you.
Oh, come on, Richard. I came into the office today just to get a free copy of LumaFusion.
I'm sorry. So Motion VXF has a new Final Cut Pro behaviors. They're going to give away free starting tomorrow, March the 26th. I saw that on Twitter. So I like free things. What about you?
Yes, I think we all like free things. I think free things are good.
Especially when they're quality.
But at the same time, we got to support our folks making plugins. And
absolutely.
But yeah, free things are good.
I buy a lot of plugins. I buy them. I had to cut back. Even before this started, I had to cut back a little bit. I'm always curious what's going to happen at NAB. And since NAB is still having some announcements, I'm pretty sure they are. What the heck is Blackmagic going to do? They've got to have their own press event.
Well, like the past 2 years or 3 years, Grant will do that live video.
Right.
A week before, and he'll kind of announce not big things, but not small things. It's just kind of like, here's some hardware, here's some new things we've done. And then they'll save like the one or two big, which is, I think it's a smart approach. So I'm hoping that they'll just kind of continue that and then just say, week 1, here we're announcing this. Week 2, we're announcing our big things.
Yeah.
Because they get a good viewership from that. So I don't know. They've got a lot to work on. Software side, camera side.
So I figure it'll be Resolve 16.5 or 17, right? This year, perhaps, in beta. That's usually what they do at NAB. Yeah. They do one or the other. They're at 16 now? Is that what it is?
They're at 16 now, and they just released like 16 1.2.
Okay.
Within the past week.
Okay. So they're right there.
So it's...
And it's out
Yeah.
of beta, right?
Yeah.
16's out of beta.
Mm-hmm.
So
16 is out of beta, so it's got to be
they'll have
16.5 or 17.
they're 17, yeah, something, and that'll be in beta for a while. And they'll have some hardware. I'm thinking, I don't know if they're doing a new camera or maybe they'll do like I said, an articulating screen version of the 4K or 6K or something. They got something. They're not going to have nothing. That's one thing about Blackmagic you don't have to worry about.
No.
They have something.
No. Well, they surprised me with not surprised me personally, but surprised us with the Pocket 6K.
Yes.
I was not expecting them to, release something in different mount and different frame form factor. So we'll see. Maybe they'll have an 8K.
So you said you're shooting, you have the 6K camera. Are you shooting in 6K? And are you down resing to HD or 4K when you use it or deliver?
Yeah, the 6K RAW is, it's half debayed on the
right.
On the camera when it records the media, but it's so light and fast. It really is. It's I thought when I got the camera, then I'll end up just shooting a lot in ProRes 4K.
Right.
But it's the B-roll is so small. Even for that, it's better to shoot. I get more time out of shooting 6K B-roll than I do 4K ProRes.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a pain that I can't just bring it straight into Final Cut, because I would love to be able to bring it straight into Final Cut. But it's not bad. It's so fast, and even on my laptop, I've got whatever the latest laptop is, and it just screams like butter on there. So yeah, pretty much everything is in RAW 6K.
Are your fans turning on your MacBook Pro? I think I saw Scott Simmons complaining about the MacBook Pro fans coming on when he put it under heavy use.
It does. It's not as bad as I had the 2015 or 2016 Mac, and that was just constantly on.
Okay.
And so last night I was working on some cocktail videos, and once I had all the color effects and all the film effects on there, and I was rendering it, the fans kicked on full volume, and I didn't have power plugged in. So I imagine, if I had the power plugged in and maybe not on my lap, it probably would have been better. But yeah, they will kick on, but not too much. It's pretty efficient.
Okay. So how's Texas? Have you talked to your friends in the video production field in Texas besides your employees? How's everybody else doing? About the same as far as work goes?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. On the production side, everything's just kind of shut down. So all of our production vendors and friends are basically just in lockdown. Everybody's just at home watching Netflix. And on the others that are doing post, everybody's trying to scramble to work from home and how do we keep clients doing videos and so forth. But yeah, all the production's completely shut down. So Austin's got a pretty big film community, and everything is down. I have a couple DP friends that we'll talk on Instagram. And right now it's just pretty much everybody's in learning mode, right? Tutorials.
Yeah, they canceled
training.
South by Southwest. What a big deal that was.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, that's a huge thing. Yeah. And it's just gone.
They said they made
so
$350 million last year. I mean, it's like it's like a third of $1 billion. And local, restaurants and everything else.
Yes. It's a massive thing. Sven Pop will go down there every once in a while, and I'll meet up with him and at South by if he's got a film showing or whatnot. It's a huge event. I mean, all the restaurants, the hotels, it's hard to get into Austin. But on the production side, it's also massive because there's so many different productions. Like all the rental houses are just empty because for whatever 2 weeks, 3 weeks, everybody is just constant. There's go. So that's a lot that's missing. Even for San Antonio, there's a lot of San Antonio crew that goes up and works in Austin during that week. So it's a big impact. It's huge.
Yep. So you want to plug your business?
Yeah, Tomiga. Right now, it's full of people. It's just me.
I mean, the location where people can find you. Tomiga.com or I don't remember.
Tomiga. It's Tomiga Works. Tomiga Works. WORKS.com. So we just we just added an about page. I know we're catching up to the times.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
take a look at our about page and give us some feedback. And we're getting ready to add some more content to it. So hopefully next week we'll kind of add a little bit more about what we do and whatnot. But if you have nothing better to do out there, stay at home, and you want to learn some recipes and making cocktails, if you go down to the bottom of my page, there's a secret menu, and it'll have some of my favorite cocktails. So
Oh, there
give it a
you
look.
go. There you go. That's fantastic. Tony, I sure appreciate you coming on, talking to everybody
thank
today.
you.
Absolutely. I'm finally got I've been trying to catch you for the last couple of times. We've been out of sync, and this time we got in sync. So
It's wonderful. Thank you very much, Richard. Hopefully you guys stay safe, and I can't wait to start watching all your other podcasts as well.
Well, not all of them, just one. I got Final Cut Pro Radio coming out this week. That's an audio though, so that's I do that in Logic, and it's a different than video editing, and I like the change. I like the change up. I'm going to keep on doing the podcast. This one I have local that I'm working on it's just something I wanted to do. It's just people are just they're holed up, and this gives them a chance to see some of their neighbors and what some of their neighbors are talking about. I live in Maryland.
I think it's great. I really think it's great, and I'm serious. I can't wait to see that, to watch them as they come out. I was just getting ready to start doing something similar, and then everything is on lockdown, so I've put that stuff on hold. But I think it's really important to just hear what everybody else is going through.
Yep.
It's just.
It is. I mean, it is
good.
to me. I wish, I'm being extremely safe. Like I said, outdoors. I told everybody outdoors only. Either I'll meet you in a park, or I can come to your house and do it in your front yard. One or the other. I'm not miking anybody up like I normally would do. With the lapel and stuff. I'm not even putting a mic close to them so they can sneeze on it.
Yeah.
Just keep it away, 6 feet away, and it works fine.
Yeah.
And I have a Rode Go Wireless Go Pro for me. I really. As a matter of fact, look at this. This is my setup for when I have a.
Nice.
It depends. I love this microphone, and this is the Osmo 3 for the iPhone gimbal, which works really well. And the phone, the microphone's attached to the bottom of it. It can't attach it to the gimbal itself. And then this is one of my favorite mics, SC Electronics. This is one of the shotguns that I use, and I have the other one. And then I'll have a wireless Go on me that I put around in my collar. I put it around my collar, and it sits just inside the first button, so it acts as a windscreen. But the quality is still there. I had to keep it. There's 3 settings on the wireless Go: low, medium, and high. I keep it on low because medium and high are too loud. So that works really well.
So you have a truly mobile get up and go.
I've been honing this at the Creative Summit and at NAB for years, and I switch things around. And I don't use the gimbal all the time, but if I'm doing a lot of walking, like I was figuring on going to NAB and walking, and the gimbal does a great job keeping things smooth. If I'm just talking to a couple people in a room, it's not a big deal. So one other thing I was going to say, NAB said they are going to step up NAB New York this year to help with the fact that they didn't have it in Vegas. So we'll see what happens there. So that'll be cool.
Okay.
Because that's close to me, East Coast. I can go right up there. I can take a train up there if it's worth it.
That'd be nice.
Since we didn't have the NAB this year. I miss seeing everybody. I mean, that's the heck with the virtual meetings and stuff. I want to talk to people.
Yeah. There's nothing that can replace in-person FaceTime. I mean, this gets close, but there's something about being live in a real environment. We can reach out and touch them. That just makes it much more.
At NAB and the Creative Summit are my 2 favorite events of the year. I'd say the Creative Summit is probably my favorite because it's all Final Cut Pro. It's concentrated Final Cut Pro. So, Tony, thank you very much. Everybody, stay safe. Do what you're told, whatever they call it, shelter in place or just quarantine, and wash your hands, wear gloves, and I'm going to see everybody on the other side of this, right?
Yes. Take care. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Talk to y'all later.